Intel shares down 1.5% after surging more than 22% in the last session.
Hello, hello. You guys see what we did yesterday? After I left? Where did we go? Did we go right to our 30-second opening range, like we thought? Yes. That was our low, just like we talked about. So balance is persisting. These were our levels from yesterday. You can see that even today, we gapped up to our target, right? Top of our range from yesterday. So again, like this is our balance. Pretty clear.
Google on decision regarding advertising tech says they disagree with court's initial decision and will appeal it. So according to the website, they say US Department of Justice's proposed changes to advertising technologies go far beyond the court's liability decision.
We can see we also followed through on our NQ idea from our short and our push down. And then we held our balance low. Same thing. So we held this as resistance off of a failure. Pushed down off of it. And then we went right to our 30-second opening range, just about where that reversion was most likely going to be. So that's what happened yesterday. Just wanted to point that out. We weren't looking for any more downside unless we were able to push below this 6. Yeah. You see that we immediately tagged into our 30-second opening range high, and then we gapped up, and now we are attempting. What are we attempting to do? We're attempting to look below and look back above, and the bid is now trying to hold a higher low. Right? So we're looking to see if we can get above this pivot from this higher low. What happens if we fail here? Well, if we fail here from a look below, then a look back above, this buyer isn't present here, then we can put in a lower high here, then we could potentially then come down. Right? So that's what we're watching for right now, which way we're going to break off of this. You guys see that? Does that make sense? We're looking for that 50 to 60 to hold as supportive right now. And if it doesn't, and these lower highs continue to maintain, we push below 50, but then this becomes our risk, this 50 to 60. All right. And ES is still just in balance. It's not doing anything. All right. This is a great first risk off from our 50 to 60 into our 75. Beautiful. I'm at 1 here. One's out. Because why? Well, because we're in the mid of our balance now, and we need to take out these highs if we want to go higher. Or what happens? We put in a lower high here, we fail to take this out, and then this could be us showing us that our seller is still present here, and they say, hey, we don't want to go higher. And then the buyer's like, oh, well, crap. Well, I don't know if I want to bid here again. And then we push below, and then we have to go down lower first, find value before we can go higher, right? So this is just top of our little range that we're trading here. What we want to see are these buyers to take out these sellers to let us know that we want to go up further, right? We held a higher low. We held our bottom of balance after getting back in. We've identified to the market like, hey, we care about price down here. And not only do we care about price, we are willing to buy higher than before. So we want to go up, and there it is. And that is your full balance play. And what was the catalyst for that? The look outside, yeah? Then the ability to then bid the bottom of balance, the higher low. That gives us an idea that we want to go higher and break these highs. Full rotation. All right, we've made $1,000 already. We've been online for 5 minutes. And that's your full balance rotation on ES as well, right? Same levels as yesterday. Easy. Wouldn't it be nice if I was just like, all right, later. You guys have a good rest of your day. uh, nah, I'll stay until Mario gets here at least. Yeah, no, it's all good. But this is why being prepared pre-market, right? Having an understanding of where we're trading and what we're doing, why these like concepts are so important and why I talk about it so often is like if we already have this set up and we understand how auctions work, right? And how we move through them, and we see that we're still respecting similar levels to yesterday, then all of that work is done for us, right? We have a full trade plan, we have full targets, we have a full risk profile to play around. And so we just do it. Huge. There you go, right? Like that's our full trade from yesterday that we did. And this isn't, I didn't do anything new. We just saw that we were doing the literal same trade that we did yesterday. So like if you're going to trade open, you should have structure from the day before ready to go so that you can play off of it because you don't have a ton of information to play off of right at open, right? You either wait an hour and then you play off of that newly formed, newly generated market information, or you're playing off of yesterday's and Globex structure, and then you're building out a plan based off of that, right? They're basically your options. I get a little confused sometimes because you sometimes say you don't look for longs under 30 seconds or you don't look for shorts above 30 seconds. However, the reason you looked for longs is because of that look below balance or low formed correct. 30-second range. Listen, man, like this is a balance that we traded all of yesterday. And so an entire day's worth of price action and consolidation matters a lot more to me than the first 30 seconds of the market opening. I have a balance that I've played around quite a bit. A lot more money is involved around this area. We've seen that we traded directly to this is what we did. We did exactly what I thought we were going to do after I got off yesterday. What does that tell me?
Canada is launching USMCA consultations with businesses and provinces.
What does it tell me that we are still trading in this range? What does this overall range mean to me? Well, it looks like this is our balance, right? On the higher time frame. So what do I care about the 30-second opening range? I understand that we're trading in a much larger balance, but this is our 30-second opening range from the day before. Well, we're holding that, so we're still just going to be rotating around this section until proven otherwise, right? So I know that we've recovered our low after bouncing where we thought we would yesterday. We gapped up So what am I going to be doing shorting on a gap up? Doesn't make any sense. From an area where we held and we wanted to hold. Think about your higher time frame as well. So we gap up from exactly where we thought we would. We held our lows. I'm not looking for any more downside until we push below this. And we have now recovered our balance from the day before from our gap up. Okay, well, now I need to respect that we're back above our pivot, and I'm playing off of that with 10 points of risk. Am I going to completely invalidate all of my ideas because we're below our 30-second opening range when I only am risking 10 points for a 70 points of upside? No, that makes no sense. It's brain dead. Use your head, right? Like, deduce where we're going to trade if we're above or below this line. If we're above our 50 to 60 after looking below, after gapping up, then I'm going to play the 10 points of risk for the rotation up. Right? Like, that just makes sense. We already have the full plan played out, right? Like, we have all the information we need. If I see that all of our structural levels are being respected, then I'm going to continue to play. Because it is telling me that those buyers and sellers are still showing those areas as value, right? That's the most important concept. Is our balance still being respected? Are the buyers and sellers where they're supposed to be? Is every box being checked, right? If every box is still being checked and we're still seeing the auction persisting in the areas that should be, and price is moving in a way that makes sense in that area, then we should play that price action. Simple as that. What's up, club? The Shepcast. So are you going along now, Kowalski?
Canada's Trade Minister LeBlanc expects to go to DC for trade talks in the next 2 weeks. So just keeping an eye on gold, continuing to move higher here. Gold prices moved high on Friday and headed for a fifth straight weekly gain, with market attention focused on further US rate cut cues after the Fed delivered its first cut of the year.
This is probably worth looking at on NQ 7585. Just keep an eye on it. This is our mid from yesterday, if you guys remember. We're watching to see if we can hold basically these sellers as now our buyers, and we can then trade above for a continuation higher, or if this is going to hold a lower high, right, push below for the full rotation back down to balance. We'll see. And for ES, our mid as well. So we're watching to see if our offer is going to hold here. Then we rotate through, or if this can hold, then pop above our 710 for continuation higher. But we'll see.
Supreme Court asked for a
Mid of our
response from
range.
Fed's cook by Thursday.
And what is this level on NQ? Well, it's our 30-second opening range high, as well as our ETH high. So pretty important level, as well as our value high edge so far at open. And where are we expecting that lower high to be if it's going to be anywhere? Well, right where we put it, at this 98. So we did get the bid where we thought we would, but we have to take our first profit here into this high, just in case that the seller is going to be able to hold this.
LeBlanc adds that there are positive signs that the US has begun formal USMCA process. According to the information, OpenAI suspend $100 billion in backup service for AI breakthroughs. Trump has asked justices to let him fire Cook amid court fight. Just to kind of give a bit of a timeline of what's happened so far with Cook. So you had the Trump administration asking your Supreme Court yesterday to allow the president's firing of Cook. Then later on in the day, Fed's Cook urged this US Supreme Court to reject Trump's request to immediately allow him to remove her, according to a filing. And now again, the Supreme Court asked for a response from Fed's Cook by Thursday, and Trump has asked justices to let him fire Fed's Cook amid the court fight.
Yeah, and like again, like the 30-second thing is just a good rule of thumb to have, Kowalski, to prevent yourself from taking stupid trades, right? And you can completely and totally respect that and have like a very hard rule set, or you can have a soft rule set of being like, okay, well, I am going to, if I don't have any other structure on my chart, if I don't have any plan or variables that I'm willing to play around, then playing around your 15-minute VWAP, right? Your 30-second opening range and your initial balance, right, from the first hour. Like those are three structural things you can play off of to start to make decisions if you aren't going to do the work on a larger scale beforehand, right? I think that that's super important to recognize. Is like if you don't have all of the information that I already have, right? Like I haven't drawn a single level today. All of this was done from yesterday. And so I'm
We have
very
put out the article
prepared.
from the information on the feed for you to read through.
So I have a lot more to play off of than someone else who has none of the work done, right? But if you don't have any of this work done, playing off of that 30-second opening range isn't a bad idea. And I think it is
There's further
great to
information
develop
then
out
from the article.
trades.
The company plans to spend about
Um,
$100 billion renting backup servers from cloud providers over the next
right?
5 years, executives have told some shareholders. That's on top of the $350 billion the company has already projected to spend on server rentals from cloud providers this year through 2030.
And like let's look at our 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 indicators with if we didn't have any of my drawings, right? Like what do our charts look like right now? I see multiple trades that we could have taken just based off of this anyways, right? So again, guys, remember that the blue to blue, these blue dotted lines, this is our 30-second opening range. So we did a very similar thing on our 30-second opening range. We had a look below in failure. We had a look back in. So we're now looking to play a bid off of this for a rotation up. And then what did we just hold? Well, we held our 30-second opening range high as supportive from a look above, right? So we're expecting a buyer to be here. So you could take a long here from either here, from the hold, right? The recovery of our daily POC, which is very clearly here, as well as our 30-second opening range low. This could be your first look at 760, or you could be looking for a long here at 780, right? From our 30-second opening range hold on NQ. Do we see any similarities with where I just said to look for a secondary long between this area here from our 30-second opening range low and our 30-second opening range high? Yeah, right? It's the same levels that we already have talked about. But you can see that even if I didn't have these structural levels on the chart, it still is where you should be looking to take a long based off of just the 30-second opening range. So just to like, and it's the same thing for ES, where this is, what are we seeing here? There are two different kinds of trades here. Well, the first trade on ES is very simple. We howled yesterday's daily POC, the POC from yesterday, after gapping up. So we came back down and then we went right down to the POC from yesterday at 96. That was our low. Am I looking to short if POC from yesterday held and we gapped up and traded right into value high of yesterday on ES? Well, no, I know that we just went right to target. Value high held on our daily profile from yesterday. We rotated down to POC where we expect to rotate. We showed no interest below POC, so we shouldn't be looking for the value rotation down to value low, right? So all we're expecting off of this rotation is this, right? We rotated exactly where we were supposed to target. So this is an entry here as well. I'm not bearish. We held POC as supportive from yesterday. Where am I looking for price to rotate up towards? Well, our 30-second opening range, right? So that's your first target. Right? This is our 30-second opening range low, as well as POC that shifted. So we went from our shifted POC, that's where we traded towards. So you have lots of factors that you can be looking at of where we're expecting a target to be. We traded from yesterday's daily POC here at this like 96.75. We rotated up and we traded right up to our developing POC from this morning, the gap at 705. We then rotate back down, and then our developing POC shifts. We hold it as supportive, and then we rotate up, right? And now what are we trying to do? Well, we're building higher lows from this morning. We're holding our 30-second opening range low, which is a fine long. We're not showing any interest below. And now we're trying to bid and hold our previous day value high where we rejected last. So what does it mean if we can build above here? Well, that's super important because this is our top of balance and this is our tail, right? Or our value high. So if we can look outside of value here, hold our 30-second opening range, our previous day value high, and show this is supportive, that's a pretty good sign that we want to expand. What's our first target? Well, I would say our ETH high, right? We need to see a very clear look above and hold above that if we want to go higher. Or we should expect that we will revert back through our range, right? So even if you didn't have any of the information that I was talking about, longs made sense, not shorts, because we traded daily POC value high from yesterday. And we're not looking for a short continuation until POC goes resistance. And once POC goes resistance, we have a plan of how we are supposed to trade this. We only look for a continuation down when POC holds offer. Then we trade down to value low. If this holds as supportive, we're looking for a pushback up to value high. That's just our rule set in general. So again, like none of my rules were invalidated. Trying to like getting like held up about one specific thing doesn't change our overall structure. And so I just wanted to point that out because I think that makes the most sense. Okay. Yeah, I think I need to do better at pre-market analysis and not just mark lines on the chart. I mean, dude, like I said, it's either way, it's fine, but I mean, even if you were just marking lines on your chart, I hope what I just showed you showed why even a long made sense based off of like even that, right? Like if you're not marking or like showing at least even yesterday's daily volume profile, then that's kind of weird. Because like you should know that we held yesterday's daily POC after failing to get above yesterday's value high, right? Like those are two very key pieces of information. If we're still rotating in yesterday's value structure, then we should expect that yesterday's value structure should be respected and be traded, you know? Those are two very important lines. Mm-mm. I'm only in a runner here at 85. Stop below 75. Just waiting to see if this mid balance can hold and if we can get back, if we can get over that 810. But again, like your first PT, if you are playing off of our mid balance, has to be here into 800. Has to be, right? Because until we can get over 810, we have no um there is no promise of expansion, right? We're just trading our balance high. So we should be expecting that sell side is sitting here and that these are going to be sellers trying to shove the offer down slowly, right? Lower high, lower high, lower high. We need to see that buyer step over this 810 798 area if we're going to go higher and try to expand. That's our first sign of expansion, because if we don't, we're going to push below and then 75.85 goes offer and then we do the full rotation of our balance. So this needs to hold here with ES also at our mid of balance here at the 703. And then we need to step over this 707, 710 area, show that we are interested in higher. Or again, sell side is just lowering the offer here, and then we'll eventually push below and then rotation back down through. Note that Russell rejected our 30-second opening range. We've showed zero interest so far on the day. Really seek higher at all, or even retest our highs. So it's diverging a little bit compared to NQ. Yes, right. It's showing a bit more weakness. And so without RTY being able to push up, right, we don't have as much on our side, on the side of bulls to continue moving higher, right? If RTY is diverging and NQ is the only thing that's rotating up, and even that is sideways, it's going to be very hard to make an argument that we want to continue up. There's nothing there are no variables that are saying, hey, we want to go up now. Right? Everything is kind of telling us, hey, we want to consolidate sideways or go down right now. Right? There's no momentum in the market. And so we shouldn't be expecting momentum because nothing is showing any signs of movement. Hopefully that's clear, especially with the divergence. So we want to see Russell find a pop, and we want to see NQ continue to respect our zones, so that when that momentum steps back in, we're still showing that interest at the levels that we care about, right? That's how we get upside. Everything right now is saying, hey, our offer is in control at these highs, and we're showing, and they're pushing lower highs, right? Not higher lows and higher highs. Our offer at our highs is still willing to hold here, and we're putting in lower highs. And we need to be aware of that. Are we holding our mid? Yeah. So we're in a very tight balance right now, like a 15-point range. But for continuation, we got to see these highs break. or we should be expecting that the longer we sit here up into our highs, the more likely that if this continues to fail to push these highs, that we're going to have to come down lower first before we can go higher, because we have to seek liquidity where buyers are actually present, right? If we don't have enough buyers here at this level, then we're going to have to come down further in price to an area where there's more excitement from buyers before we can continue on higher, right? That's just like, think about an auction. If people don't want to buy at this price in an auction, well, then price has to come down, right? Things go on sale. And if things go on sale, then people become excited because things are cheaper and it's at a level that they care about more. So we're advertising a lower price to see if there's interest down here. And if there's interest down here, more demand comes and then we can potentially go back up, right? But what happens if there's no demand here either? Well, okay, well then, like, oh shit, okay, well we have to, instead of 20% off, we have to go to 50% off, right? For a sale. Think about it like that. Okay, well now we have to come back down to another area of interest where buyers show demand, right? It's an auction. So if there's no willingness to push higher and there's not enough buyers here, then of course we're going to come down to a different area of value. It's an auction. Morning, Ben. All right, take off your first risk here as we push down into 760, 750. If you're short from 800s or short from 75s, where you're short from, that's just the same idea and the same pathing that I have on chart. Right? First risk has been taken off. And we should expect the bid to be here at 50 to 60 until proven otherwise. If we get below 50 to 60, we'll look for this to be offer for that secondary leg down. The bottom of our balance. Your full balance rotation off of seeing no interest below. And what should we be expecting here? Have we already done the pathing for this? We know where the bid is. Well, it's the bottom of balance, right? So does it make sense that I can take a long here and look for a rotation back up to 75s potentially with a risk right below 50? My stop? Yes. Balance. You have 10 points of risk on either side. So if I've taken off half of my short, I can look for a long as well. There's your first PT. Are these things starting to click for you guys? Are we seeing the balance? Are we recognizing it? Yeah, it is. Very straightforward.
JP Morgan shifts Bank of England rate cut forecast to February and April 2026 from early expectations of November 2025 and February 2026.
Nice. Yeah. Good job, Kels. See if we can flip the 75.85 for a secondary long from buyers. Right, just like before. We're looking to see if we can hold the mid or if these lower highs are going to persist here. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, I totally get you.
UN Security Council decides not to permanently lift Iran sanctions.
Yeah, you're good, man. What do you mean, what's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong with you. You just like trying to short the lows and long the highs or something? Without a breakout? Is that what you mean? I mean, I don't want you to get like... Basically? Okay. All right. Well, don't be like too hard on yourself. I don't want you to do that. And know that at no point was I being like hostile with you. I just want you to like really see the structural areas, and this is a good day to review based off of what I just talked about, and just go back and look. Simple as that. No big deal. You got it, man. I believe in you. Peace, man. If you have any questions, just DM me. So this is first risk off if you're trading off of 75.85. Why is this first risk off if you didn't even have these balance areas? What is this? Well, this is POC to value high above, right? On both ES and NQ. So we want to be taking off our first risk here if you were longing into that, because we know that we are going to meet a seller here. If sell side is serious, right, we're holding below POC to value high on this push down. And so we need to be aware that there's potentially a seller here as we rotate back up into these areas. Right? Like this is where our most recent seller is located in our shorter trend. So it would just be like a simple thing. Just putting I'm doing this as a visual aid of why this makes sense. So if like you didn't have this balance labeled, this is where our last seller was located based off of footprint. Right? POC to value high. Similar thing here. POC value high. So you can just literally put like a red zone of like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes that I should be for a seller to be located there. We got to get over that guy, and then we got to bid it for us to go up. Yeah, sure. Exactly, Ben. I mean, listen, we don't, if bids don't step up here, we need to see them hold this, and then we then look up, right? It's fine to retest areas like this, right? But we want to see that this buyer is valid, because if they aren't valid here, then we have to rotate back down to where they were last, right? Think of it as an auction. If people aren't interested in buying here, then we're going to come back down to where they were interested in buying last, right? That just means that we need to go on sale because there's not enough demand at this higher price level. Think about it as like an auction. Yeah. Right? Because we've shown no interest, or I guess the better word is desire to push new highs. And so what we know is that there's a seller who's very clearly up into these highs, and we've shown no proof yet that this isn't still just where the supply is resting, right? And so if we know that there's no interest above as of yet, there's no reason to expect expansion. So the only thing we can do is take off our first risk into our known seller, or keep our risk break even and expect that price is going to rotate in between here and not take any profits, with the expectation that that eventually this consolidation will lead to a break to the upside, and we have to be willing to just take a break even trade, right? Take no profits off. So it's up to you what you want to do. um I mean, I'm usually more than happy to take, 12, 15 points of free money while we do a rotation, and then look to add back into this position if we can get over, because I know that then this becomes my risk, and then I can just play this expansion, right? So I a lot of the times will just take the free 15 points in the area that we already have identified as where like we're going to be balancing. Um, Especially if I see no interest above, it's like, oh, okay, well, I can just reload here again, and my risk still remains the same, and I can just continue to take that. But it's really up to you and like your understanding of like what we're going to do. But like as long as your overall understanding is that we are currently rotating in between this buyer and this seller, and that we shouldn't expect expansion until we are shown expansion, right? That's the most important concept to grasp. We have a very clear auction. We have a very clear buyer and seller where we are trading around. And as long as we recognize that, pretty kosher. What we shouldn't do is recognize all of that and then buy here and then not stop out and then try to add more position here. Right? And then we're now adding on the way down. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? And I see a lot of people who do that where they then buy the mid and they buy. And now all of a sudden they're like, they have to now stop out here at the low because they have so much risk on in this instead of just stopping and then making a new decision as we come down into this low. Which again is why I think it's really good to just take off your first risk into our known seller always. Where was our last seller? Okay, well, are they still there? Okay, well, let's take the free 15 points, and then maybe we get stopped out on our last contract. Trade's then free regardless, because we've taken off one and we stopped out one. And then we can try again if things go our way. Yes, which a lot of people do. They don't catch themselves doing. And again, if you are unwilling to play in the middle of the range, totally understand. If this area is chopping you up too much, remember what we're waiting for. We're looking to play off of this edge and this edge. Our balance low, our balance high. This is our mid. So we are looking to then play off of this as a short for rotations down. We're looking to play off of this as a long for rotations up until proven otherwise. If this middle is too choppy for you, then just play off of your top edge, right? We know that we want the bid to hold the mid and get over our high, and then this is your risk on a look above, and then you're looking for a long expansion outwards, right? If not, we know that we should be expecting that buyers from down here and here will be taking profit into this high. And so we can look for rotations back through from here until we see that look above, right? So your risk right now in balance, again, like if the mid is too much for you, this is what your risk is on both sides. You're looking to play off of this seller and this buyer until proven otherwise. So if this middle area is too choppy for you, the overall ideas are still the same. You're looking to sell or short these highs. You're looking to long these lows until we show interest outside of these areas. Risk off, that means that I take off my first contracts. I'm taking risk off. That's what I mean when I say that. So I take off half my position into first target. I take money out of my position. And if you are like, well, I only have one contract, then you have to close into first target, right? Like you either need to change what you're trading, the instrument you're trading. If you can only afford one contract, then you need to be trading something else, right? Like, so if you're like, oh, well, I only have one mini. Okay, well then switch to 10 micros. It's the same thing as one mini, but it allows you to then cut off half your contracts, right? You can take off 5 micros, and then you have 5 left to let run. So you've taken off half of your risk. So again, like if you're a smaller trader and you have less leverage you can trade with, most prop firms allow you to trade, multiples of 10 in the micros. If you're allowed to trade, 2 minis, then you can trade 20 micros. And that's a much better instrument and way to trade for someone who's trading a smaller account than than trying to just like get the perfect entry with one mini every time. You have no room for expansion. You have no room to let runners run with that. This is your first PT if you're playing
It's
off of
according to reports here on
7585
X.
or
So House
800,
is now
810.
voting on interim spending bill.
Take your first risk off here. Back down to the bottom of our range. What do we need to see for expansion?
Remember, this is the House voting on funding government through November 21st, the GOP version.
What do we need to see for expansion, boys? Push below 50 to 60 and hold, right? Need our bottom of balance to go offer. So this is your first risk off because we know that the bid is resting here. And this is where we're looking to see if longs are located or rotations back up if we're going to continue to maintain balance. So you have to take your first risk off because we know that there's a buyer located here on both ES and on NQ. If we can push below these pivots at our lows, then we can look to play with this as our risk for expansion downward, right? This then becomes our risk for our secondary if we're going to get our low.
So just a reminder about what Trump and Xi are supposed to be discussing. As I said, talking about TikTok, but just the specifics then. Under the arrangement from the US side, TikTok's US business would be controlled by an investor consortium including Oracle, Silver Lake, and Andreessen Horowitz, according to people familiar with the matter.
Go on, Joe. What's up, Josh? Never Apex. It'll be a Tradeify account. All good. I just wouldn't want to. We would never give out an Apex account because then you
House
still
has
have to
enough
pay.
votes to pass stopgap government funding bill.
You would have to pay the
So the US House
activation fee.
passes stopgap funding bill, sending it to the Senate for consideration.
With Tradeify, it's still free. There's no activation fee would be included in that. Really nice. You still have to pass the eval, but like then also, if you do it within the first month with the free accounts, then it's all free, which is really cool. If you don't pass in your first month though, then you then have to pay the monthly fee on the account. But at least you get a month to attempt for no charge, which is sick. Yeah, pretty good. All right, so what are we looking for here, guys? We're looking for our bid to either step back over 60s from a look below for a reattempt of this balance rotation, or we're watching for our offer to now hold this 50 to 60 as resistance for a rotation down, correct? The only way that we look for a long is if we recover our bid at 60, because then our risk is 50 to 60. Yes? Does that make sense? Yep. So, does it make sense that I have a short here from our 75.85? Yep. And then we're only in our runner because we took off 1 here into our low, so 50 to 60. And now we're in our runner for the breakdown. And does it make sense that I took a secondary here? Playing off of that 50 to 60 on MNQ? Yep. And where's our risk? Well, 61, right? So I've taken off half into first PT at 32. And now we're watching to see if this will hold offer. If we get back above 60s, then I'll look to potentially long again with our risk. If this can hold, then there's no reason to be looking for anything other than this now being our value low as resistance for a continuation down. So, see what happens. Just following our plan. So look for our offer to be here to defend this $50 value at our lows. If where our buyers were is now where our sellers are, right? Same thing on ES. If these guys fail, what happened on the last attempt where we failed to push lower and hold this or shift value here? Well, this was just a really nice discount, and then we saw that the bid then maintained here for rotations up, right? We can look for a very similar thing where if we fail to shift value here and we get back above, that will rotate like so and then continue onward, recovering it and showing no desire to hold this as resistance. And we'll just look this as long and then play the rotation back up, and then it's the same business as usual. We really need to see sellers present here and willing to defend, because if they're not, then we should expect more of the same. There's no interest at the bottom to shift value, then we should expect that value will persist. Super important concept to understand.
So in about 10 minutes' time, Veds Myron speaks on CNBC. China's President Xi said talks were positive and constructive. This is quantitative Xinhua now. China-US relationship is important.
Watch for 50 to 60 to hold now on the look back above. As long as that's happening, you look long for rotations back up. I was stopped on my
Xi
short
adds that
on the
China's
pop
position
above
on
60.
TikTok is clear,
Now watching to see if we can bid here.
and Chinese government respects wishes of firms. And Xi says US should avoid trade restrictive measures.
Well, volatile news, but as long as 50 to 60 is holding, upside is likely. Those people are trapped below.
Xi tells Trump that the US should refrain from imposing unilateral trade restrictions. And Xi hopes that the US is to provide open and fair environment for Chinese firms.
Great job, Rafe.
Xi said the US should not impact outcomes of trade talks. Xi and Trump hold pragmatic and positive constructive discussions, according to Xinhua. And China's Xi says China will not forget US support in World War II.
What happened the last time we did this? Traded, we'll look below, traded into our 75.85, and then we looked for a bid here into
East Callas
our
says violation of
40,
Estonia's
like
airspace by Russian military
our 50 to
aircraft is an
60.
extremely
Okay?
dangerous
So
provocation.
we're watching to see
Also,
if
5
something
minutes away until we're expected to
similar
hear from
happens here.
Fed's Myron
These guys
speaking
remain
on
offsides,
CNBC.
and we can now hold this balance low if we're going to go up, or if this is going to fail, and then we look for the rotation below. We'll watch for a very similar thing to happen here to this. Where you just held, we just hit our tagged into our mid of our balance, and we're watching to see if this is going to hold as resistance or if we can hold this as supportive here. And I look back in. The bid has to be very quick here, or this will flip offer, and then we will go down. Let's see what they do.
East Callas says Putin is testing the West's resolve. We must not show weakness.
Remember, this is what we did last time. We'll tag below. So watch to see if we can get back above 60 and then play this off as your risk. Or we'll flip it and then we'll look for it as a resistance. We just got to wait here. But so far, we're playing exactly the same rotation that we did last attempt, right? This is a bid right now. Again, look at what happened in the last attempt where we looked below. Traded back up into this high. We then retested this 50 to 60. Tagged a little bit below to stop people out, and then we rotated up off of it. We're watching for a similar thing here if it's going to happen. We need to see a very clear offer below 50s, not just a little wick. You need to see that offer actually shift below for shorts to be viable. I was on the eval. I won with you guys currently. $1 in that account. Need to make 20. Yeah, you got it. Just slow and steady, man. Believe. Got it. Um, Nicely done, VK.
She on TikTok says that I welcome business discussions following market rules. Surely expected to hear from Fed's Myron speaking on CNBC.
First risk off here, off of 50 to 60 into 75.85. We flip that. We rotate fully up into 100.
Fed's Myron says I don't see any material inflation from tariffs. Now Fed's Myron now speaking on CNBC. Myron says there is no discernible core goods inflation in US versus elsewhere. And changes in border policies in recent years have been big inflation driver. Myron says removal of migrants will have disinflationary impact. Myron says I was a bottom dot. So reminder, with the dot plot, Myron did vote for a 50 base point. Myron says, I will give full accounting of dissent in Monday's speech. Myron says, I hope I'll be able to persuade colleagues.
Twice as loud.
So
Yeah,
again, saying, I hope to persuade others on the Fed to support aggressive rate cuts.
you can also turn me up that everything is level, and then you can just adjust it yourself.
Myron says, it's silly to say I'm just doing the bidding of the White House.
Test, 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 test. That should be a bit more even, no?
Myron says, this is only a 4.5 month job. So Myron says, if Trump told me I'd stay beyond January, I'd resign from White House immediately.
Okay, that should be better. Chris Martin.
Fed's Myron says we should not be too far from neutral rate now. Economy could use funds rate close to neutral. So again, economy could use funds rate close to neutral.
Isn't he like English?
Fed's Myron says the longer you stay restrictive, the greater the risks to the labor market.
Think I sound English? Or are you talking about the news guy? United States.
So a reminder, Fed's Myron said the Fed is quite far from neutral. And I think growth will be better in the second half. So I think that growth will improve in the second half of the year. Myron says implications for monetary policy are not very big.
All right, let's see what we do here. 50 to 60 holding offer after going to first target on long. We're now watching to see if this holds again or if we can bid back above 60s. Again, all for this rotation, we're just watching to see if this ever flips. This is just going to be the continued playbook that we're following. We are watching to see if this seller
Fed's
can ever
Myron says
shift the
focus on
balance.
moderate long-term rates mandate is silly. And literally read the FRA.
So long as this 50 to 60 is holding,
Again, Myron
we
says
go
I'm
down.
not reinterpreting the mandate of the Fed.
If this guy down here fails to hold this level, we look back up, we then look for a bid here. If this bid holds, then we go up. If this bid fails here off a first test, just look left, right? Like it's the same thing. We're watching to see if this holds as resistance. If it does, we go down.
Fed's Myron says I did not talk to Trump about dots.
It's been the same thing the last 2 attempts.
Myron says I will do independent analysis. That's all that I will do. And I will do independent analysis of Fed policy. Fed's Myron says that I did not commit to action in speaking to Trump.
No, the Hydra system is a completely different. They're more like midterm positions. We're trading futures right now, scalping on a intraday basis. Hydra options is taking less risky spreads on stock positions mostly. Futures, this stream and what this platform is what we're doing, are we're trading S&P 500 futures and QQQ futures. You can see the trades that Hydra is taking, the past trades, I believe.
Myron says that weak or strong dollar is not in the Fed's remit. It's Treasury Secretary and the President's.
So like what Hydra was in yesterday was this. These are the positions that Hydra was in.
Myron says that Trump didn't ask me to commit to any particular actions. According to Fox News, Trump to appear for an interview on Fox News Sunday. Fed's Myron says government's cost of debt is not one of the Fed's mandate.
Right, so it's very different. I mean, our website.
Myron says, as Fed governor, I'll seek to achieve the Fed's 2 mandates.
We have 3 services. We have algo trading for futures, so fully automated futures trading. We have fully automated options trading, and then we have what I'm doing now.
There might have been expectations of more dovishness from Fed meeting,
which is live streams, education, and indicators for manual trading. So it just depends what you want to do.
Myron says markets may have been surprised by only 1%, and as a yield curve hasn't steepened by much. Myron says I wouldn't expect to be able to convince anyone in such a short period. Myron says there will be a lot more context and rigor around my arguments coming soon. Myron says revisions showed job market was not as strong as thought. Senator Thune says stopgap bills vote to start around noon. Myron says the longer we stay restrictive, the greater the risks to the job market.
I've taken off half of my position from our 50 to 60. Just watching to see if we can hold runners or if they absorb here again and then pop us back above. So far, shift of our balance low
Fed's
seems
Myron
to be
says
holding.
size of Fed's balance sheet will be a function of regulatory regime that's chosen. Adding the balance sheet focus is a symptom rather than a cause. Myron says it's not appropriate for the Fed to engage in credit allocation. So Myron says it's not appropriate for the Fed to engage in credit allocation unless there's a financial stability crisis. Fed's Myron says, I don't think a 50 base point cut would worry markets too much. It's a measured pace. Myron says, my dot next year isn't so far from others. Myron says, getting to neutral half point at a time is reasonable. Myron says, I'm clearly in the minority in not being concerned about inflation from tariffs. Myron says that the US is more elastic and flexible compared to trade partners. Myron says there are cross currents in import prices, including the US dollar. Fed's Myron says there will always be relative price changes, but it's a different question if it's macroeconomically significant. Myron says aggregate price level is what matters for Fed policy. That concludes comments then from Fed's Myron on CNBC. Remember, he's going to be speaking at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox Business. Trump on Truth Social now just says, I just completed a very productive call with President Xi. We made progress on very many very important issues, including trade, fentanyl, and the need to bring the Russian and Ukraine war to an end, and the approval of the TikTok deal. I agree with Xi that we would meet at APEC summit in South Korea, that I go to China in the early part of next year, and that Xi will likewise come to the US at an appropriate time. The call was a very good one. We'll be speaking again by phone. And I appreciate the TikTok approval. I'm both looking forward to meeting at APEC. Trump says that we'll be speaking again by phone.
Are you talking about this, Josh? Yeah, it's a footprint chart. Bit different from a volume profile. You go into your candle types, it's a volume footprint. Um, yeah, we use the value area. It's not a profile though. But yeah. This is what a profile is, right? With the nodes and all that. This is what our daily profile looks like. So like right now we're holding our daily value low. This would be our daily value high. This is our daily POC. This is our profile on the day. Same thing on yes, holding our daily value low and previous day's POC. And then on footprint, we're holding the POC to value high of our previous candle. So a little bit different, but similar. Which time frame do you use to find a rejection from the value area? So I use two different time frames. Are you talking about like our overall value areas? Again, like, I use a daily volume profile for our overall value, and I mean that should just maintain on all time frames, right? Like this is a 30-second chart right now that's maintaining on the daily profile. And then I use a 15-minute footprint, and that's also maintaining our POC to value high there as resistance. So either one works, but I'm using a daily profile on a smaller time frame chart, and that is remaining as resistance. You can see we're holding both our PVZ value, which is an indicator, so this automatically makes this for us. And you can see that it flipped from green to red automatically, and it is telling us we are holding that as resistance, and we are continuing to go down. I just took off another right there into our target too, by the way. And then, yeah, I mean, but we're also holding our downtrend like we talked about, holding POC as resistance to our value high. And so we know that we are in a downtrend. So yeah, I mean, what all time frames should ideally work. But yeah, I primarily focus on our daily profile as well as our 15-minute print chart for my levels. There, and like I can show you. Second. Here. Turn off indicators. So it's just to you can see what I'm talking about here. So I longed our 50s on the recovery. I tried to play this from our look below. We took our first profit into our 75.85, which is here, right? So we played this, took it off here. We stop out below 50. I immediately am now short with our risk at 60, right? Which is what we have on our profile here. And then I've just been playing this down into our next PT at 30s and then 15s. You can see I've been taking off risk into our 30 and now into our 15. Right, after getting stopped out on my long, after taking initial profit off at our 75.85, which is our mid pivot. Just following our plan.
Oil falls to intraday lows as Trump chief plan to meet at APEC meeting.
Do you think this is profit taking because of Friday? Did you expect this? Are you talking about this little down move? So like this is what our plan was yesterday. I think it's important for those that weren't able to be here for the stream. these levels that we have are what we were trading yesterday. So we are just still within yesterday's structure, right? These levels are what we identified as yesterday. This is what we identified as our low yesterday. And we expected that if we would either rotate in between this balance or sell side would hold this edge as resistance. And if they did that, we would rotate down to this area here. So I already had this plan in place because we were playing the same thing in yesterday's market. And we are trading within yesterday's value. So if I turn off our drawings and only have indicators on, you can see this is yesterday's daily profile. We are trading between our value high and our value low of yesterday's daily profile today, right? So we actually opened and held our value high from yesterday, and then we rotated down. So we are just rotating in between yesterday's value low, which is here at 708, which is what we just bounced. Right, this is our low. This is yesterday's value low. And we are continuing to fail to build above our value high from yesterday. So I expect rotations to kind of just occur between this low and this high until we're able to either hold outside of value, above value, or below value as resistance. So that's kind of how I've been planning my day today. So I just am kind of expecting rotations around this high and this low. Nah, I don't trade Asian or London. I keep Globex on for my footprint chart to have an understanding of like where price traded, right? So this is Globex, but most volume on the day is traded in our regular trading hours, and I care mostly about where demand is during regular trading hours. So I have it on my chart, but I don't have it on my scalping chart. So I'll take note of it, but it's not a huge factor for me personally. Because the only thing I care about from our Globex or from all of our sessions is how we're interacting around our VWAP. That gives me all of the information I need personally about how positioning occurred from overnight. Remember, our VWAP is our volume weighted average price. So if we're trading above or below our volume weighted average price from both our London and Asian session, right, which is this purple line, that gives me a lot of information for how the market is kind of responding and which way we should be looking. Other than that, I just trade off of new market generated information off of today, like the RTH chart. Personally, I find if I have too much on my charts, or if I'm looking at too many zones, too many levels, it's a bit distracting. And what I personally trade, remember, this is like the biggest thing, is I do not move the market, right? So I want to be trading with the participants who are currently moving the market, and I want to be trading around their price action. So if I can identify current buyers and sellers, right, recent buyers and sellers off of footprint and off of our volume profile, I want to be transacting around their levels. So trading off of like EU session and Asia session can be great for like larger time frame pivots, but most of the trades that I'm taking are very have a pretty clear recency bias, right? Because I'm trading off of their order flow, and then I'm looking to make crumbs, right, or pennies on the dollar by playing the rotations around the current higher time frame
According to
buyers and
PTI,
sellers.
India's
right?
Goyal is likely to visit the US soon for trade talks.
For someone who's on a higher time frame, this trade between 720 and 750 is literal noise. For retail traders like us, this is a great 30-point trade. And so like I will trade around the buyer and the seller who are positioned here that we can clearly see. And so, like, to me, that's where I make my money. My risk is usually 10 points, and I usually look for like a 2 or 3 to 1. So I'm usually looking, I'm usually risking 10 points. And I'm usually looking for 20 to 30 points for my first scalp, my first risk off, ideally. But usually they go much longer than that. It just depends. But on average, my average risk is about 10 points. You'll notice that, like, if I turn off indicators, look at what our zones are. So our zones are usually my risk. See how it's 50 to 60, 10 points? You see how this one's 75 to 85, 10 points? See how this one's 800 to 810, 10 points? So, like, these are my pivots that I'm playing around to then develop out ideas. Right? You can see my risk profiles here. 10 points for like a 4 to 1, 10 points for 3 to 1. 10 points for 3 to 1. Does that make sense? See that? Yeah, no problem.
Iran's UN envoy after the UN vote says the door to diplomacy is not closed.
Full rotation from our 715 PT, rotating back up to our 50 to
Iran's
60
UN envoy says
balance
Iran's
low.
foreign minister will meet with European counterparts in New York next week.
We're watching to see if we can recover these edges or if they hold as resistance again. I'm unsure. We'll just have to wait and see. We just bounced off of our 30-second opening range from yesterday, and we are testing into our
So a bit
value
more
edge
context
from
in
today
the Iran stuff.
on ES.
Earlier
So
today,
full
the UN
rotation.
Security Council decided not to permanently lift Iran sanctions.
We need to very clearly push back over 98s and hold it as supportive, recover our value edge here if we want to go higher, right? Or this will be where our offer sits, and we'll rotate back down to this edge here at 92 before we can go higher, right? So that would look something like this, and then we'll either pop from here as a supportive hold back over 98s, or we'll rotate back down fully. Gonna keep an eye on that. We'll have to see what happens here. Russell, POC is finally shifted. We have a new level to play around, which is great. Giving us a bit more context. If POC continues to hold it as resistance, which is this 70.8, it is a good sign that our weakness is still in our market and that we are going to do something like this, right? Because if POC is here and value low is here and we can't get over POC, we're then going to look to see if sell side is going to shift value, if these buyers are going to step out of the way here at our value low. And if they do that, we expect that this becomes resistance. And if our value low becomes resistance, we expect then expansion outside of value. And that would be to the downside, which is bearish. So it is really important to see if buyers are able to sustain here and get us back over POC from our value low, or rotations up. Or again, we expect resistance to hold at POC, and then we're looking for sell side to be able to defend below our value for continuation down. So that's kind of the idea here on Russell. For NQ, no change, right? We need to show interest back over our pivot. What we have is a full rotation of our sell side back into value. And now we have rotated up, right? Back up to our balance low edge here and our value edge. We're watching to see if we can show interest here again.
Iran's UN envoy says it will be Iran,
upward,
not adversaries.
or if this is going to hold as resistance, and then we're going to
Iran's
rotate down.
UN envoy says it will be Iran, not adversaries, who decide with whom on what basis to engage.
There's your plan on all three. So we're just watching to see what happens here at these pivots. This is where our seller was located last and where we took our last short. We took profit again into our lows. Now we're watching to see if we can get back above and start to make this 50 to 60 supportive again for rotations up, or if this is going to hold. If Russell can hold this low and get over POC, it's a good sign that the bullish move has potential, right? If this continues to fail and RTY continues to lead to the downside, which is what it's been doing all today, right? We haven't shown an actual upside move that's been able to break this downtrend. It's going to be very hard for that upside to like actually have any merit, because we have a mixed market, and mixed markets just don't move out of balance all that often. If you're new to the stream, we look at RTY and NQ to determine how strong the market is. RTY has a lot of mid and small caps, right, that NQ does not have. NQ is mostly our tech names, right, our bigger caps, our mid to large. And so we look at both to give us an idea of how we're doing on an overall basis. If RTY and NQ are going up, it's a good sign that ES also is going to follow through, and then we have full market participation in the direction that we want to go. When RTY is going down and NQ is going up, we have a mixed bag, and that usually leads to a balanced market or a choppy market. Not always. Sometimes NQ can carry, especially if it's like Tesla who's leading or Google who's leading, and if they're like really, really leading on the day, they can carry the market up. But for the most part, we keep an eye on both and then play off of the pivots between the two to give correlation. And you can look at our sectors to kind of get a better clue here. So we can see that like healthcare And technology are basically like the only things that are, technology are basically like the only things that are green, and they're like barely green. Everything else is red. And so financials are red, communications are red, healthcare is red, but just slightly. Real estate is kind of red, but most things are like at a very neutral to slightly red level. Energy is red, which is why Russell is going down drastically, right, compared to everything else. Oil, energy, smaller banks are all red, which is why RTY has been on such a free fall compared to NQ, whereas tech is green. So we have a very mixed market. But if RTY can find that low and NQ can continue to maintain being positive, right? Our tech names continue to be positive as these names come into a low and then bid, then we have upside potential, because then we have all sectors moving together instead of this mixed bag. If you want to know more information on that, we have lots of videos covering sector rotations and how you can play around them. I use tick data. TradingView doesn't have tick data. I'm going to grab some water. And we'll be right back. Just watch our pivot here. See if we can get above and hold. Get that upside rotation, or if 50 goes offer again, and then that starts to hold for downside, and we trap here. I'm unsure. We'll see. Oh, like the internals tick. Yeah. Yeah, that's different than like handle based tick. So what do you see on tick? What did you want me to look at? I can tell you what I see. Have you watched my tick video that I did on our trading on our YouTube? What do you see on with this tick based off of that video if you've seen it? Are we in an extreme? Are we seeing a divergence? Has the divergence been spotted, calling our low? Did we see a good risk off here and a good higher low at our negative 500 from our look into our extreme? Got our bullish tick into our target from our short. Got our reversion signal on PVZ. Got our rotation back up to 0 or neutral, right? On tick into first target here. Got a really nice higher low off of that extreme from our 0, giving us a hold of our value edge for a rotation up. First profit target would then be zeros again. This gives you your next run into our highs, but still maintaining higher lows. So, right, the bid is still active across the market, right? We still have a very active, it's a neutral market, it's a balanced market, but the market that has an active bid stepping in on tick. So, if you haven't watched the tick video, I highly recommend that you do so. Very good. That being said, 50 to 60, holding a supportive. First risk off here is into 75s. If we can flip 75, 85, we rotate up to 800, 810. So this is, again, first PT here. Hopefully that makes sense. Question, if you're in a trade and you're in profit, but it hasn't quite hit your target, and let's see, say price comes back down to where you initiated a position, does your stop change based on that at all? Feels like psychologically need to work on keeping my initial stop as planned because I feel sometimes in profit and trade goes back to neutral, I'm more inclined to just stop out there. So, I wish I could give you a flat answer on this one. But it's usually not that simple. I would say that this is where journaling becomes incredibly important. Because like you can handle it in two different ways, right? Like way one is that you've taken off risk into a loss of momentum, right? So like momentum can be part of your trade club. So if we start to not get the push up that you
Fed
were
announces agenda
expecting,
for upcoming community bank conference.
that can
Speakers at the Fed conference to include Treasury Secretary Bessent. And conference speakers also include Blackstone Schwartzman and Robin Hood's Tenev.
be done. Part of your trade plan can be momentum, right? So a loss of momentum can be a reason for you to exit the trade. So it's really one of those things where it's like, I am only going to stay comfortable in this trade because we have the break, we've gotten our recovery of a level, and now I'm expecting momentum. A lack of momentum after an up thrust, right, or a push higher or a break of structure can definitely result in rotation back down to where your original bid was. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, has anything invalidated in my trade idea? Right? And if nothing's invalidated, then there's really no reason to stop out. But an invalidation variable could be a loss of momentum, right? So like that's something that you have to
October 9th.
kind of keep in mind, depending on like what you're looking for. Sometimes that follow through is pretty necessary, because if we don't show that supportive hold and that push, right, that continuation from buyers, that could be your first signs of weakness. And so, yeah, that could be a reason to stop out of that trade, definitely. The way that I usually get around it is that I'm watching the DOM constantly, and I'm watching price constantly, and I have a good understanding at this point in like my trading career of when things start to slow down and what my expectations are. And so when I start to see that,
by the Fed at
I take
8:30
profit,
a.m., welcoming
right?
remarks by Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is to occur, pre-recorded. 8:35 a.m., opening remarks by Vice Chair for Supervision Michelle Bowman, and at 8:45 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, remarks by Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent, with a fireside chat with Vice Chair for Supervision Michelle Bowman.
And the way that I prevent myself from getting FOMO is that I stay in runners, right? So I want to show this entire rotation down. I think it's important. Let me show you context for what I'm talking about. This will give you an idea of how I handle it personally. And this doesn't have to be the way of the world. This isn't the law, right? But this is something that I definitely do for myself, because I understand how I trade and where I emotionally am going to be like, I don't know. So I will leave runners. Do you see how I stopped out of this short on our flip over 60? So I left a runner because nothing has invalidated about this structural level for me. So I'm more than happy to risk off as we go down and take off a majority of my risk into our full target. Could I have flipped this position? Yeah, totally. But if I don't want to overtrade, then I can just leave this on with a limit here, where if I get stopped, I immediately flip long, and then my risk becomes 50, right? So this is how I handle it personally. And you can see that I do the same thing here, where I longed our 50 to 60, and I played up to first target into our 75. I then stop out on the push below 50s because I have objective levels that I'm playing around. My stop from this trade then becomes a short at 50, a stop above 60, right? That's my risk. And then I play this to the downside. My risk here is still the same. So I was just in a runner here, and I then stop out over 60. I immediately then am filled long. I do that by having more limits on at my stop location than I have contracts short. So when I stop out of my short, I'm buying more contracts, right? I'm filling to open. I'm buying to open here. So I'm closing my short, and then I'm immediately filling long, and then I play that up to first target. And now I'm in a runner from 50 to 60. So structurally, nothing is invalidated, and I'm playing a mechanical setup, so I'm allowing that to stop out automatically. Could I have made a discretionary decision to stop out earlier than that once I saw us break our downtrend? Yeah, totally, right? But as long as this is maintaining for me, like I'm more than happy to just stay in this trade while we rotate this lower structure. That's fine with me. I'm more than happy to give some back because I've already taken 95% of my profit off for that move. Right? So like that's how I personally handle it. Also, this is second PT here into 800, 810. Definitely consider taking off a little risk. Because I'm playing structural or mechanical setups, right? So to me, having risk to reward like that makes the most sense. But it's really what you're comfortable with. And what you are going to need to do is go and review the trades that you get stopped out on, that you could have taken profit on, and see if there are any common themes. And if there are, when you go back and look and be like, oh, okay, yeah, like this happened and this led to a loss of, or to a weakness in the market, and I should have been able to see that, right? Note those behaviors that you're seeing when we don't quite get to your target and we do backtrack all the way back down, right? Watch and record those areas. Be like, oh, okay, we didn't hit my PT. I didn't take profit and I let it come back all the way on me. What are some signs that I could have seen there to be like, oh, yeah, this is weakness and I should have expected that this rotation and this pushback down to our lows wasn't going to hold, right? The more comfortable you get in your own plays, the better you're going to be able to adapt while they're actually going on and happening in real time. Right? And that all comes back down to just journaling and then recording your bad trades, your good trades, and understanding how the market environment affects what you're doing. Right. So again, like that's why I say like a loss of momentum could be a really great sign for you of being like, oh, okay, maybe we're not going to come fully back down, but is this a trade that I want to be in? If I wasn't expecting a lack of momentum here, and I was expecting us to go higher, and we didn't do that, there's potential for us to start curling over because we're not seeing the speed or the strength that I needed for us to get this continuation up. And that's a real thing, right? Like a loss of momentum could be a really big indicator that price doesn't have it in it yet to go to where you want it to go. So I wish I could give you like a straight answer, but it's one of those things where you just have to be aware of like how in your setup and what you're looking for, is it still meeting the criteria that you wanted, right? Is it following your trade plan still or not? If it is, then there's no reason to stop out. Hopefully I answered your question. Again, this is full PT. We just did the full path thing back up. Held our 75.85, giving you a secondary entry, rotated up into our highs. Now it's a matter of, can we start to build above this 800, 810 for expansion potential? Or does this hold as our high? And do we then absorb here, make a lower high at our 800 and then rotate back down? So we'll see what happens here. We've got some good momentum. And again, look at what we were expecting on Russell. We held our lows, we held our POC as supportive, and now we're attempting to rotate up off of it, just like we had talked about. Only way we get that downside move is if we flip this. What do we have right now? We have full market participation. We have RTY going up, we have NQ going up, which allows for a much better upside move with momentum across the board, right? And we see that. And we have a full rotation on ES as well, following our pathing and plan. We have now done our full balance rotation on both NQ and ES.
ByteDance says we're to allow TikTok to continue serving US customers.
Yeah, no problem, man. Have a great weekend. Oh, he's already left. The way that in like some people are really against taking profit early club, but for me, like my entire objective is to just compound gains, right? Like my entire objective is to lose the least amount as possible and have the smallest risk to reward as possible, right? The smallest stop out as possible. And so I will I position in a way that allows me to take profit on the way up while still maintaining a very minimal risk. Like 10 points is a very small amount of risk on NQ. A lot of other traders would consider that like noise, 10 points. So if I can really pinpoint the areas where I want to trade, that allows me to position a bit larger than other people because my risk to reward, right? The amount of points that I'm willing to lose is much smaller in size stop wise. And so then I can take profit as we go up and I have levels and ideas of where I can add to that position if need be. Right? Like we've identified two different adding positions here, our 75-85 and our 810-810. Sorry, our 800-810. So if we're able to hold above this 800-810, I will add back to this position and move my average up. I'm more than comfortable doing that. Because we have our structural understanding of why and where we're trading. So if this is able to hold as supportive, I don't care. I'll add back. But like I understand that we just did our full rotation into target. So if we see weakness here and we see an inability to push and hold above these levels on ES and NQ, right? Then that means that we're still maintaining our balance and there's no reason to expect more upside, right? The expectation has not been met. So if we can't show any interest above and we see the same sellers absorbing into these highs, then we should not expect any difference, anything different to happen, right? So then we'll expect that sellers absorb here. We put in a lower high. Our offer shifts down. We make a lower high, right? We then play this as our risk to reward. So this is our offer then, right? Where we're expecting, sorry, let me actually put this on. We push below this, I'm then going to be playing off of this, our 800, 810 as our offer of where I'm looking to put my stop above. I'll be looking to short this, and I'm going to be watching out for a lower high. And then I'm going to be looking for a rotation down. 75.85 is our first PT. Secondary PT would then be our full rotation of our balance back down to 750, 760. Right? That's if we can't get over and sustain above. That would be my expectation. That if there's no shift of our balance at our high, then we rotate back down through said balance, just like we did here. If this can't hold, our balance low here can't hold as resistance, then I expect a rotation through our balance to the upside. Just like we have here, it's the same concept here. I'm going to delete this because it's getting a little messy, but this is now fully played. We have 50 seconds until new 15s. We'll probably make a decision into the new 15. We'll watch to see if we can push over this 810 or if this is going to make that first lower high and if we can start to build below. We have a really nice POC area to play off of. where if price opens below this on the new 15, that'll be a great resistance. But if price can hold
Use
this, we'll be
Costa
looking
says
for a
EU
potential
leaders
upside
will
move.
address a collective response to Russian
20
violations
seconds.
of airspace at the meeting on October the 1st.
Yeah, definitely. And like again, like even just with one contract left, right? I mean, this is $1,000 rotation here from our balance low to our balance high with a 10 points of risk. Like what are we talking about? So again, for those that are not listening or not understanding, we have a POC below us. We are holding an uptrend so far. We are watching to see if this is able to maintain here and if we can continue upwards, or if we are going to fail to bid here and shift outside of our value and then rotate down, right? Well, I don't have an answer for you yet. We have to see how we develop out up in these highs. We know that this is our balance high. Why can't I select? So we're watching to see if price gets below the POC of previous candle and we absorb here, trapping buyers off sides up into these highs, right? And then rotates us down, giving us a very clear offer below. And then we play this as our risk to reward, like we have labeled. Or if the bid is able to maintain here, and then we can continue on our way to the upside. I don't have an answer for you yet. We don't know. I can't predict, right? But if buyers start to step in and show us that interest, then yeah, we'll go up, right? We have to see it first. Yes, yeah, I do. I'm going to start to be very careful about our positioning as we push into this high on RTY for a potential loss of momentum. This is where I get a bit worried as we come up into our VWAP retest. We just have to watch to see. We've got VWAP here, and then we have our ETH low and value high. So this is a really big area that we're going to need to be able to push through and show a continued momentum, or we could start to see a bit of a pullback here. So we'll just have to see. And it's just we're testing our highs. See what they do. This is a full target here on Russell of what we were expecting, right? So now we just have to wait and see what we do into this. ES and NQ both battling with our balance high, trying to make it supportive. Little absorption into like 815, 820 so far. Offers a bit stuck at 800, 805. So offer is going to try to shove us below that 800, 805 and try to make that resistance on a look below. And if they can do that, we sweep down. If we can continue to just kind of like build here, no change, right? We have a buyer who's absorbing sellers here into our 800. We have a seller absorbing buyers into 820.
Nasdaq 100
So
climbing
just very
to
tight
session
range
highs
while
of
we
around
wait.
spot 4%.
My stop on my runner from 60 is at 95. Yeah, we'll be doing it probably around like 12:30. 12:31, yeah. And then that'll probably be it for me for the day. We had a really, really good morning. I've been here since open. And then Mario will do the rest of the session in Discord. You know what? I can actually start 1 second. I can open signups for marbles right now. See if that works. Automation is so good, man. Feels great not having to do that. Oh, look at chat go. Beautiful.
Friday enjoyers.
Yo,
Hello.
hello.
How was the morning?
It was great. It's literally everything that we did yesterday. Just again.
Very nice. The afternoon yesterday kind of sucked. You left right at the perfect time. We
Yeah.
got like 2 more rotations that were good, but
Yeah, I saw we went like right to target into our lows and then just like did nothing.
yep. Yeah.
And then we just today we gapped up back to our balance and then now we're trying to hold the highs. Hopefully we get some expansion here and we don't fail. That'd be nice. Just back to our 710 though. We're literally opening where you got on yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah, when I looked at into my higher time frame, I'm like, oh, brother. I don't know, like after you left, like I said, the short side trade was good, and then the long was okay, like following it, but
yeah.
like it just fell. It's one of those like you just click it and then like you like
Yeah.
minimize your brokerage account and wait like an hour and then like pull it back up and be like, I made money.
Yep.
But looks like most people took an early Friday leave. Which
Yeah,
makes sense.
I would hope.
I mean, after
then,
the morning, yeah.
yeah. I told them that I'll probably just do this giveaway and then head out.
That makes sense.
Yeah. See. I'm in a runner right now from 760. Watching to see if we can hold this like 800, 810, or if this is gonna fail. My issue here is like if we show no interest over 710s, and Russell shows no interest over VWAP here at 77.5, and we get back into value on NQ, which is resting at 800 basically. Like we're just gonna rotate back down and we fail here again. That's
Yeah.
like, okay, well my stop's at 795 then. We'll just see. Like either I make $900 or we keep going up and then I make more. My schedule is so rough right now. Ugh.
Just like your sleep schedule.
Both, yeah, but I'm also like doing like artwork right now again for my other company, and like so
Yeah.
I'm basically I get off of this and then I have like a 2-hour break of to like get my life together, and then I basically like immediately go to the hospital to then go work on like branding crap for like 6 hours. So I'm pulling like almost 12-hour days right now.
That
It's like,
sounds horrible.
yeah, it's rough. What artwork?
Worthwhile, but not.
Yeah, I mean it's good because it makes me feel like I'm like actually a functioning member of society and not just a green red button clicker.
Yeah, not just me, just in my boxers
Yeah.
sitting at home.
It feels good to be like out again.
Yeah.
But yeah. What artwork? Hospital for what? I do I have a motion graphics company as well, Mr. T. So I'm doing some like internal branding for them for workers at a hospital right now, but I have to like learn all their jargon and like what they want. So it's like a lot of work right now. A lot of work. I'm so used to just being like getting off and then like being able to live my life. But it's good to work again. Trading is nice, but it can get a little depressing if you're not like traveling or doing anything else. Like I need some I need something else to feel accomplished. This doesn't really get me feeling fulfilled all that much, honestly. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, having something secondary is great. And it's also good because then you don't want to stay here for the full session, right? You make your money in your market, you get the hell out, and then go do something that you're passionate about. Don't stay in the casino. Cash out. I'm a little upset. I shorted a profile high without double comp. Oh yeah. That'll get you. That's why I love the double confirmation of like looking at our footprint as well as looking at our like volume structure, right? Because like what is our footprint? And here, let me turn off drawings. What do we see here? Well, we're holding our buy side push right above our value low to POC of our previous candle, which is still confirming that we're in an uptrend, right? We're in an upside market. POC is holding us supportive from our previous candles, and we're continuing up. We're holding our value edge on the daily profile, which is this white dotted line, right? So we're holding where we need to so far. Yes, it's choppy. Yes, it's a battle up here, but we're holding where we need to so far to be a potential upside confirmation and continuation, right? This is where we are. Our value high edge, right? So it's bullish if we can accept above value high. It's only bearish if we look above value high and then look back below and then hold that as resistance, and then that'll become our POC target, right? But if we're here, we're taking profits from POC or our middle of our range, and we're taking profit into our value high. But if we flip it, we'll then look to see if that can hold for expansion outwards. If we ever push back below and then we see that offer lower, putting in that lower high, then we can play that to the downside and then play the rotation through balance. Oh, it's just a waiting game now. %80 rule on the reversion play? I don't know if I know what that means. It's the 80% rule. I see. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're talking about on the broader, like profile play setups. Got it. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Sorry, I thought you were talking about like a risk management thing. Yeah, that makes sense. If you haven't already and you want to join the giveaway for a free prop account, type !play in the YouTube chat. Sign up. Going, Carlo.
People get excited with the giveaway.
Oh yeah.
You should.
What chart? Oh, you can just, this is always available for you. This is in the description of the PVZ indicator. So you can always find this. This is just like, there's a full write-up of the rules, of the reasons why we look for what we look for, all of it. So here's like the rule set. You want? And why, what happens, right? Like the entire breakdown is all here and it's always available for you to look. It's also available on Discord. You go to the indicators tab, there's even a larger write-up than this on the Discord in the indicator section. But here, if you just want to screenshot the video, go for it. I just noticed though that this should say value high and this should say value high. It doesn't. So just keep that in mind. This is incorrect. But I mean, regardless, you know that this is value low, this is value high, high and low. But yeah, you can always just, if you just search period value zones on in the indicator section, you can just go to this page. Or again, like go to YouTube and then go to the indicator section. It's a free area. You don't have to be a member to, you just need to be in the Discord. And then you go to the threads and there's a full write-up on this concept. Jesus. Why did you join that?
Tom loves to race.
Do you want me to host the race, or do you want to host it?
It's up to you, man. If you can figure out how to
So I
do the
think I
Grand
know-
Prix, then you should do it.
Look in the channel right above Tendy Shop. So you can like have your own local leaderboard, and I think you can track it that way. But you have to do individual races to do it still.
What do you mean
But
the
you could-
channel right above Tendy Shop?
The one that says Team Chat.
Oh, I don't have that channel turned on. Okay, let me do that. Add channel. Okay.
Oh, it doesn't automatically add it for you?
No, it was like up in the suggested now because you tagged me.
Ah. Interesting. I'll have to make a note of that.
It's all
Why
good.
is he
I
not-
added it.
like, why are you not responding?
Yeah, no, I didn't see it.
That makes sense though. So I think like You could track it through your local leaderboard there.
Yeah,
and
so I
then
had that checked on and it wasn't saving race to race. So I don't know like what I need to like look more into it when I have time.
Weird. Okay, I'll have to look
Yeah,
into
that's
that.
why I wanted you. That's why I gave you the CSV yesterday, or was that yesterday? 2 days ago, to see if you could take my CSV and then figure out how to do it with the old info while I was still trading. Right, like you could open it right now with the old CSV and see if you could try to simulate 2 races and carry the leaderboard over.
Well, let me look through
For
this.
those looking at the market really quick, you have a little NQ retest here of a slight higher high, the most minuscule of all. Still just like two-sided trading up here on ES.
Yeah. You guys could do knockout? Yeah, we could potentially. I mean, there should be a way to carry it over. I'm not very familiar. I opened marbles for the first time 2 days ago, right? So I'm a noob.
Okay, I think you need to create a custom local leaderboard and then do it that way. If you want, you can send me the CSV and I can host and test it out.
Yeah, sounds good.
If nothing else, I'll take screenshots of every game and then manually add it if we want to do 3 races.
Yeah, it's fun.
We're gonna do a knockout. No, it would be, let's just have everyone can do all 3 races and we'll do winner take all. So I have the local leaderboard made. Okay, that gives everyone a few more minutes. If you haven't joined the race, type play, !play in the YouTube chat.
Musk's Neuralink to launch thought-to-speech trial in October. So Neuralink looks to put brain device in healthy person by 2030.
Yeah, we'll do. Hmm.
Carlo typed in the chat. Was he already added or?
It won't
So-
add again, yeah. So he's already added
Okay.
if it didn't say anything.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna close my position with Russell starting to lead down. In my runner here, but I'm gonna start focusing on packing up
So
shop
right at
for
the
the
top of
rest
the
of the
hour,
day.
get the Baker Hughes total recount and oil recount. Total recount prior 539, oil recount prior 416.
I'm out. I could have left my stop at 95, but I'm about to close up shop anyways here at 1. So we'll do the giveaway here in a second. Again, if you haven't already, type exclamation mark play in YouTube chat. It is in the threads section. There's a little icon that looks like a spool of thread. Like this, Squawk. See that? Create value zone. Little threads icon. I'll just link it to you direct. I know Discord can be a little weird to find stuff. All right. Yeah, I'm out. I'm closing out Tradeify for the day. Let me just screenshot my trade. $760, $820. Oh, so I'm out of that full. I'm going to close out now. Yeah,
Let's
huge.
in 3 minutes. Let's close entries and run this before 1 o'clock.
Yeah, sounds good to me. You should be able to run that command, by the way, as a mod. The stop. What's the actual command? It should just be exclamation mark close marbles, and that'll then bake the CSV. You can also do the start marbles command as well.
In my
Just in the YouTube
bot
chat?
or-
Yeah. The YouTube chat will respond to you because you're a mod. I think you have perms. See if it works. If not, then
I
I'll
type-
set it up. Yeah, let's see what happens.
Okay. I tried it.
It should respond if it did it. Yeah, let me try as well.
You may have to add my specific username.
Okay, yeah. I just need to add you as a moderator, the moderator perms for it. It's no biggie. All right, let me send you the CSV.
Looks like they imported just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Should be 40 names. Sound right?
Should tell you like the number once you import it at the top.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna just stream in Discord. Is that okay?
Yep.
So we're gonna do 3 random races.
5 minutes ago, to get the Baku's total rate count prior 539, or error count prior 416.
The procedural one's good. Let's start with that. So this is a map that just auto-generates brand new every single time, so it's never the same. Did it not import the names?
So you have to do bots.
Okay. Let's try this again. All right, race, random, bots. Got it. Okay.
And then max racers, you change the number of names, 40. That should work. Yeah, because that's a simulation.
House of Pain. Ooh, that sounds like a good one. Let's try it again.
There you go.
There we go. Hey, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. And we're off. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let me get this going a little better. Here we go. All right, 24/7 refreshing out to the early lead. Strongly. Let's see if he gets caught up in the grinder here. Woohoo! Hims. Truly is him right now. Going through some more grinders right here. See if the House of Pain lives up to its name. I hate the camera work on this.
Yeah,
I
it's
gotta
really
get
bad.
Refreshing back in the lead. There we go. That's a good angle. Holy cow. You got a huge turbo boost there. I don't think anyone's beating refreshing this race unless he gets caught up here.
He like gets knocked off. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Cursed him.
Oh no.
Master
Oh
curse.
no. Oh no. What is happening? I thought he had it. Like, yeah. Okay.
Classic caster curse. What are you gonna do? Just keep
this is gonna
cursing.
slow- Oh, this might actually be a good finish. Is he gonna get caught on a
Uh-oh.
bumper here?
Oh, nope.
Ah, okay.
Nice.
Okay. Looks like one person died somehow.
Oh.
All right, so we got Refreshing, Willy Will, VK, Turbo, Paperman, Nicholas, Believe, Rocket, Odin, followed up by Harmonic in our top 10. I didn't even... Was I the person that died? I think I'm the one that died. I don't even see me on the map. Oh, wait, there I am. I see me now.
What are you guys doing
Oh.
back there?
Sugar Rush just died. Prophet Pulse just died. Got caught by the fire. All right. And we good. All right.
You
How
like
come
press
it's like-
escape to get your mouse again. Yeah, it's weird.
All right. So, is this a copy?
Surely expecting the BakerHughes data.
Sweet. There we go. I like that. All right. Let's do another random track here.
Sadly closed, Danny. Sorry.
Sorry, Danny. Get you in on Monday, okay? I think we did this one Wednesday. It's a good one, though. We'll do it again. Looks a little different in color. All right. Down the toilet bowl we go.
Block, you're in, man. I can see your name on there.
You don't have to type at every race. Since you guys are already in, you automatically get entered into all 3 races. I think that maybe that was the confusion. Maybe I'll just follow it from the overhead. That's kind of fun. Probably works fine. Here we go. Odin out to the quick lead here, followed by Mayonnaise, Unicorn, and JJ. Oh, Odin, where are you going, baby? Oh, JJ, all of you. Mayonnaise survived the ramp. JJ dead. Ooh, Nicole dead. Noah dead. Francis dead. Everyone's dropping like flies now.
Massacre.
This is a massacre.
Total rigs.
Holy.
500,
Oh,
Refreshing.
refreshing. What was
142.
that? The cheat code. Holy cow. You like jumped off the map and landed in the basket.
2 first places in a row is crazy.
I don't think that anyone's going to be beating him. That pretty much secures it, doesn't it? I don't think. Yeah, because you can't beat 2 first places. You'd have to be. Willy
Is it
Will
best of
might have a
3 or
shot.
best of 5? I didn't know. Which one are you doing?
I was going to do best of 3.
Okay, yeah, then I mean he just
That's
wins.
Well, Willie Will came in 4th this race and came in
According
2nd
to Polish
first
border guards,
race.
2 Russian fighter jets violated safety zone of Petrobaltic platform in the Baltic Sea.
I think Willie Will has a shot.
Oil rigs 418, 418.
So we will do that one more because I think if he gets in first and Freshing doesn't finish, he might have a shot. I'm not positive. Let's see if we get the.
Let's try it.
All right, let's see here. Random track. Let's go. And start.
Oh, this one.
Ooh, oh wow, it's just like a straight race. Death Alley. Oh, there's like little traps that can fling you in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Turbos. Oh, I can't even keep up with the camera. It's crazy. Oh, and then you got the. There goes Prophet. There goes Braveheart. They're dropping already. Consistency counts. Guess not in marbles. Where is Will? He has the chat. Oh, he's in last. Same with Refreshing. Ooh. Sugar Rush and Consistency and Dreams all up in front. Oh, there I go. And I'm dead.
There I go.
I don't know where I was going there. Bye, JJ. Bye, Francis. 2 more obstacles. Sugar Rush and Dreams.
Maggie.
There goes Noah. Oh, M's dead. Archer's dead. There goes Trade Tactics. Dreams. I think Dreams might have it unless he gets hit by one of these pistons here. All right. We'll leave it on the.
Oh, right at the end.
Viola. Glockman from the first. VK out. Oh, what is happening?
What?
Like a massacre at the end here.
You gotta love when marbles is more interactive than the market right now. It's like classic Friday activities.
All right, looks like 24 Refreshing is going to be the winner. There's no one that could have even challenged him besides the few that I mentioned. So Refreshing, if you're in Discord, hit me up with a DM. I'll send you some coupon codes, or you can create a help ticket in the TFC Discord. If you're not on Discord, I guess if you have your email attached to your YouTube name, I can send it to you that way. Just type in the chat if you're in Discord, and then I'll let me know what to do.
Yeah, please join the Discord, man. It's good for you regardless.
Yeah, I agree.
You could take it.
All right, final results. Let's see if.
Yeah, so like it didn't carry over on the leaderboard. It's annoying. Do you see
Well,
it says no active local leaderboard up there? Like what?
What I had.
Yeah, you had it clicked. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. I'll do it this weekend if I can figure it out. I mean, it's
Yeah,
good that you can copy and then like put them all together, but it is a little odd.
Yeah, see, I have a custom leaderboard here. I
Yeah.
wonder if there's like a way to select it when you do the race.
There's gotta, because I'm pretty sure when some of the streamers I watch do this best out of 3 stuff, I'm pretty sure it keeps track.
Local track records? Yeah, that's.
Well, we have to do it a little differently because you can only do like the actual commands on Twitch. They haven't added YouTube support. So I'm like I'm doing a little workaround right now. So we are like copying it from a list that gets generated, and then we're simulating the race. We're simulating the simulation. That's a little weird because if it was just the regular in Twitch, it would do the Grand Prix with like the leaderboard, but
Sure.
weird. All right,
All right, since it's
Yeah.
Friday we'll give away a good growth account, no activation fees, totally free. So I'll get that to you 24. It looks like you DM me, so we're all good there. And stay tuned Monday. Join us again. We'll do another marbles race. We'll try to get it a little bit smoother. We're getting better at it, though, I
Yeah,
think.
definitely.
So we'll figure out a better tracking system. And we'll get that smooth operation for next week.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Go touch some grass. Have a good Friday. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next week.
Good to me. Thanks, Tom. All right. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go enjoy my Friday. Looks like we didn't do anything since my close. Russell VWAP still holding his resistance. To me personally, it looks like we're just watching to see if RTY can find a local low here into this node at this 70, 71 area. If we can do that and then rotate back up, probably can get some more upside. But if RTY starts to lead down again, it's going to be really hard for the market to just have that momentum that we need to be able to hold this balance high and like actually do something with it. So I think it's just a waiting game to see if we can hold structurally up at these highs. Remember that yesterday, let me turn off drawings. We are attempting right now on NQ and ES to hold our value edge, right? So this is value high from yesterday on ES here at 707. And this is our 30-second opening range high here at 707. So if we can continue to maintain our 30-second opening range high as well as our value high and build above this, there's potential for expansion, right? If we can hold this pivot here from like this like 703, 707. If this fails and we look above and then we build out all of this volume up here, then we look back below, it's a very good chance that these guys will be off sides. And then we will be looking for, instead of this holding as supportive for a continuation up, we're going to see the opposite, right? So is then all of these guys up here will be off sides. So I think that that's probably what you're watching for in the afternoon. If we can't sustain here at our 30-second opening range high, as well as our value high, and build and then get over this ETH high for continuation higher, right? I know I said high a bunch there, but like this is it. Just like we were battling for our lows here, where sellers were trying to shift value, right, below this, which is our balance low. We're now looking to see if buyers can shift value at our value high or our balance high. We really need to see this upper area develop out and show interest for continuation up, or we expect more of the same. This. And because we have some people who are trapped outside of that range, outside of value, we have potential to break these lows and continue down, right? Because we'll have offside buyers at our highs plus active sellers, right? So we have two different participants who are potentially going to lead to acceleration in a short. So we really want this bid up here to hold this POC to value high area and continue to push, or we'll just rotate our same balance that we traded all morning. Very similar market to yesterday. Same thing on NQ. Very similar principle. This is our balance from earlier we were trading in between our 810 and our 750. Notice that we basically want to be holding this 800, 810 area and continuing to build here. And then we want to see a clear push over 840s for upside. If these guys can't maintain this area above, we'll be looking for this node, right? Very clear node that we built out from resistance, from a look above, put in a lower high like so, and then we will rotate down through our range like this. That's the plan that I'd be looking for and the pivots that I'd be looking to play off of. If this can't maintain up here, but that's all I would think. Show your tick. You're talking about this? This is the market tick. This isn't like tick for an individual. This is the tick for the entire exchange. So this is showing you your up and down ticks for every stock, and it's, you can see that we're in a downtrend right now in our ticks, but we're coming back down into oversold territory. We can watch for a potential bid here into our oversold and look to see if a buyer is going to pop us, or if we're going to need to go into an extreme first into like -1,000 on tick before we can actually find that low. But this is an area where we can start to look for a potential bid to try to step in, right? Because we're at -500, so we're at a oversold. Just watch what happens in the zero. If zero rejects and then we see a pretty harsh sell from there, it's a good sign that the downtrend isn't done and that stocks aren't done selling. Right, so if we see something like this on tick from this bounce, then we see an extreme, then we probably have one more leg down. What we want to see is kind of a building here from this and very clear look back up into 500s, something like that, probably. But again, like we just watch your 800 time area, see if we can push below and hold that as resistance on a look below, or if this continues to maintain here and then we back up. Big pivot. And if what I just said about tick doesn't make sense, there is a video on our YouTube called Tick Divergence, something like that. I would recommend watching it. It's like 15 minutes. It's very good.
Really good video.
All right. I will talk to you all on Monday. We will. I'll try to like keep the giveaways around like this 12:31 sign up time. I think that's good. So you can always stop by and win to sign up. Let's keep it around 12:30 lunch. All right. See you guys.
Enjoy your weekend.
Peace, man. Good luck.
Goodbye.
And for everyone on the stream, if you haven't, if you could give us a like and a follow, that'd be great. And enjoy your weekend. Again, we will be doing another giveaway on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday around this same time, 12:31. So, yeah. Good luck on the rest of your day. Hopefully that little review at the end was good, and I will see you on Monday.